What is up, you guys? It is your boy, Phoenix Brenton here. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the New York Jets. And I think without a doubt, this is one of the most interesting teams heading into the 2025 season. Because the Jets have been stuck in mediocrity for quite some time now. But why do I just have this feeling with what they did during the offseason that they may have a shot in terms of making into the playoffs, potentially. Now, before we get in today's video, like and subscribe. We're on the road to getting to 700 subscribers. Anyways, enough said. Let's get into the video. And let's start off with their offseason. Because their offseason was quite a weird one, I will admit. Because I can't say this team really progressed nor stinked when they started their season. Because Devontae Adams and Hassan Reddick, both players which only didn't even play their full season on the Jets. Then you had DJ Reed, who I think this is probably going to be one of the biggest losses on this team. Yeah, they have Sauce Gardner, but in my opinion, I think DJ Reed could potentially be one of the top corners potentially now he's in Detroit instead of New York. Not saying that because New York doesn't do good with good players. It's just he was CB2 in New York. Now he's going to be CB1 and over in Detroit. They also lost Javon Kentlaw and Tyler Conklin. I don't really see that being huge. Maybe Tyler Conklin a little bit, but that's kind of it. But outside of that, they didn't really lose anybody major. And I guess Chuck Clark to some extent, but that's kind of it. Players that they gained, though, during the offseason was obviously the biggest one here is Justin Fields. Outside of that, though, they kind of just got like depth players. Like Josh Riddles is kind of just going to be a depth player. Same with Brandon Stephens, who was before on the Baltimore Ravens. So really all they did was extend players back, lose a few players, and also signing Justin Fields. That's kind of the thing. And I guess Derek Nada, to some extent, is a decent player. But Justin Fields being in New York is so interesting because I think Justin Fields is getting a lot of slack. Now, could it be because he's on the Jets? Yeah. And then is it because maybe that's called where QBs burn and die? Maybe. But what if Justin Fields is the one to break the curse? What if he's the one who's going to fix this team around? Because I think, and I believe everybody can agree with this, he was good in Pittsburgh. And do I have to mention that Pittsburgh, of all places, was super horrendous in terms of supporting cast? Like last year, what was the supporting cast again? They had like George Pickens, Pratt Freiermuth, Najee Harris, and Jalen Warden. Like, it's not bad, but it's not great because, again, George Pickens isn't, I would even say, a WR1 receiver. Maybe 2, but definitely not 1. And now with New York, he has a legitimate WR1 receiver and Garrett Wilson. So I think this team has a really big potential chance to blossom to something incredible heading into the 2025 season if Justin Fields can continue this involvement of his game in New York, which might be a little bit tough with obviously a defensive-minded head coach, and he's also on the Jets, and I'm pretty sure Nathaniel Hackett is still the offensive coordinator. But that doesn't mean that everything has to go to garbage, though. And also, I just got to say, this team and this offense in particular, I think it's very underrated. Like, for example, their running backs. They have Braylon Allen and Breece Hall, which I think is a very solid running back group. Then they have a very solid offensive line. They drafted Amana Membu, plus they also drafted Opumi Fushano, which usually rookies struggle in their first years. Then John Simpson, Joe Tippmann, and Elijah Vera Tucker. Very solid offensive line. With Josh Myers as a backup, too. That's a very, very solid offensive line. Now, I am a little bit concerned in terms of their tight end position. Right now, their current starter is a tight end who was drafted in round 2, which was Mason Taylor out of LSU. But who knows? Potentially it could be good. I didn't really watch a lot of his tape, though, to be honest. But the receiving core has a real potential chance in terms of contending this year to maybe blossom to something hopefully good. Like, for example, as I'm looking at this team right now, I'm trying to plug it in. Why is it not plugging in? Oh, maybe because it's upside down. Oh, that's like because it was on the wrong one. Anyway, Garrett Wilson, obviously a great receiver, but honestly, I won't lie with you. The receiver core can be kind of solid or bad, depending on how these two receivers are, which is Josh Reynolds and Allen Lazard. Josh Reynolds has probably, at best, had, over 600, 700 yard season. And Allen Lazard, I can basically say probably the exact same thing, 600 to 700 yards. They're kind of both WR3 at best, which is kind of why it's going to be interesting to see how that might pan out. Obviously, there's potential for obviously other receivers to potentially take advantage and try to get a starting job. But that's what it's looking like so far in terms of their depth chart. Then their defense. Obviously, I don't have to talk much about their defense. You already know it's good. Will McDonald, Quentin Williams, Jermaine Johnson II, Quincy Williams, Sauce Gardner, Andre Sisco, Michael Carter II. Come on, guys. They have arguably one of the best secondaries in the league. And I think if we could see a breakup with Jameer Johnson and Will McDonald IV, we could really see something special, especially on defense. Their defense, I think, is going to be good no matter what. I think everybody can agree with this. This defense is going to be good no matter what. It's kind of now can Justin Fields at least make this offense acceptable? Not making turnovers, making sure that you're getting 20, 24 points per game, stuff like that. Play a very average offense, you can say, which is okay. And plus, I think that's very doable because you have Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson in your supporting cast and a very solid offensive line. Plus, you can just use his legs as well, which is what he's also very good at, which is something you haven't had with any of your previous quarterbacks, is having a quarterback who knows how to use his legs. So personally, in my opinion, I think the New York Jets are arguably a very, I'd say, scary but interesting team heading into the 2025 season. But now let's get into the worst case scenarios heading into the 2025 season. So I think they're going to lose their first 2 games against Pittsburgh and Buffalo, which are both at home in terms of your worst case scenario. Then you lose to the Bucs in Miami on the road. But then you get the win at home against Dallas. But then you lose in London against the Denver Broncos. Then you get the win at home against the Carolina Panthers. And then you lose to the Cincinnati Bengals on the road. Then you get a bye week. Then you get to beat the Cleveland Browns. Then you lose to the New England Patriots and the Ravens all on the road. I think you can beat the Falcons at home. And same thing with the Dolphins at home. So back-to-back wins there. And then you lose to Jacksonville on the road. You lose to New Orleans on the road. And you win at home against the New England Patriots. And then you lose to the Buffalo Bills. So your worst case scenario, I have this team going 6-11. Or 5-12, really. That is not that bad. I'm going to be honest. Now, let's go to the best case scenario. You get the week 1 opener against Pittsburgh, but you still lose at home against Buffalo. I still think you lose on the road against the Bucs and the Dolphins. Then you get the win, obviously, at home against the Cowboys. Then you lose to the Broncos on the road. Then you get the win at home against Carolina. I think you do get the win on the road against Cincinnati. Then you get a bye week. Then you beat the Browns at home. Then you sweep the series with the Patriots. You lose to the Ravens on the road still, and obviously you still win against the Dolphins at home. Then you lose or win against Jacksonville and New Orleans on the road, and you still lose to the Buffalo Bills on the road. So best case scenario, I have this team going 11-6. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe before I'm making this video, I wasn't expecting or ceiling to be 11-6, but I mean, if Justin Fields could really play some good football and their defense can play very good as well, I think this is a very good team. This team has the potential to be a very balanced team heading into the 2025 season. It kind of does have to come around to Justin Fields in terms of playing well heading into the season and also breaking the corpse of the Jets quarterback room. So that's going to be a bit of the issue. But anyways, guys, though, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace.